again. This is a perfect time to talk about my next topic here, and that is frost movement. Obviously, talking late in the year, early in the year, from December through realistically early March, there's frost in the ground. Now, briefly, what is frost? Frost is actually the freezing of moisture in the ground. And because water, when it freezes, actually expands, that's what frost is. So when water in the ground expands and creates that movement, it moves everything on top of it that is not protected from that frost. And what I mean by that is standard detached accessory buildings. We're talking garages. Most of them, by and large, most of them are, in fact, we're talking over 95% of them, are not insulated against frost movement. So what that means is that those slabs move. When a slab moves, how do you know it's moving? A lot of people say, geez, my garage never moves. I guarantee you it moves every year. So how do you know? Well, first and foremost, slabs crack. Okay, it cannot take the movement. Frost will enter underneath a uninsulated, unheated building at a rate up to 30 degrees. What that means is on the edges, frost gets under that slab, which means the frost movement or differential difference on the outside is more than it is in the middle of the building because it is slightly insulated from that cold. Even an uninsulated building can be 12, 15 degrees warmer inside than it is outside just because that air movement isn't there. So that differential movement forces the outsides to come up first, and that's where your cracks of your slabs come from. So what does it cause in addition to cracking the slab? If you have block, you will very clearly see cracks in block as this moves because block cannot take the movement either. Let's get to the superstructure, the wood portion of it. One thing about wood is very resilient. And what I mean by that is it can take movement without breaking. A concrete block can't. A soda cracker can't. You take a soda cracker, you can't break half of it. It's going to snap all the way across. That's what concrete does. Wood, on the other hand, wood bends. Wood moves. So what are some indications that your slab is moving in those cases where you don't have block and maybe you get lucky and you just don't see the concrete cracked yet? One of the biggest areas is the service door. A service door is typically put in where the hinges are closer to the corner of the building, so when you open it, you're walking towards the center of the building. That is very, very common, the most common way by a long shot, how they're installed. So what happens in this analogy that I use about this soda cracker cracking and the frost moving on the outsides to lift the outsides first, when that happens, think about that. You have a service door sitting right here. This is the edge of the slab. So as this slab is being picked up first, the hinge side of that door is going up. Very common to see, and the first thing I look for is when a service door starts to stick. And the reason why it sticks is because those hinges are being lifted up. The top of the service door on the handle side, the strike side, will start rubbing on the top of the frame. There's a huge indication that your movement is due to frost in the ground pushing up that corner. And now at that point, the service door has to be adjusted. I'll talk about that in a later video. But the other thing, garage doors. Garage doors go through the same motion also. But garage doors, and I'll talk about this a little later too, garage doors are designed to go through a lot of movement before they fail to operate. And I will touch that. But that is another way that you can see movement of frost in the building. Now, typically windows do not show any problems whatsoever, just because of how a window is designed, the flanges, the way it's put together. You typically will not see problems with windows. It's service doors and garage doors, concrete and block. Those are four major areas that you can identify movement due to frost. So, even though it's this time of the season, we all have to go through it. You may have some doors sticking, and that's just unfortunately the nature of the climate we live in. But with that, let's stay with happy thoughts. Have a happy new year.